Hi there, I wanted to go through a quick video talking about some of the things that maybe I didn't like as much about the Woodstock Fruit Festival in the last few years or whatever. So the last video was about what I did like about it and all the things that I love about it and the things that keep me going back and a few things that maybe I think could be improved or changed or whatever. Um, there's not a lot, I think the food's amazing. I love the place, I love the camp. The accommodation's great. Um, I mean, the accommodation could be better, but like I totally don't. It doesn't really bother me, right? I understand, but um, it's to me, it's comfortable. It's good. It's what you need. I would advise probably having a sleeping bag just in case it gets cold some nights. But apart from that, it's all good. I mean, the view, all of that stuff is fantastic. So, can I really pick any holes in it? Is there any things that I think aren't? Uh, well, the thing that I think maybe isn't as good as when I first went is probably the educational portion of it. And from what I've heard from the people that run the event, they don't see that as being as important anymore. And at one point, when I first went, the presenters were kind of all elevated. They were the pioneers. That was the main focus of the whole thing, I really think. And I think now I've heard a few people say that people learn about this stuff online now. That's the way that they kind of look at it. I don't think that is the case, and I think the festival should feel a responsibility to really make sure that all of the information is covered. We've seen so many people leave these events, like I feel like almost every month I come across someone that I met at Woodstock that is no longer a vegan, and I'm like, how could people not get this? How have people went to the same event I've went to and not learned this stuff? Sometimes it's the person themselves, they didn't attend the lectures, they're lazy, but like I don't even know if there's a lecture at Woodstock that's about why you should not eat meat and dairy and eggs. Like for all the other good stuff, why is there not a lecture about that? So there's things like that where that needs to be dealt with. That's a mistake that I've realised as well with the UK festival. Like last year, we started to make the education way more basic because most of the people coming are beginners, far more than like experienced people. So there's information missed out, I believe. And you can't just go up on stage and say, well, vegan diet's better. Everyone knows that. Let's move on to the next thing. You need to cover that. I think personally, I think that these things we need to cover. So I think that's important, and it's kind of missed out a little bit. There used to be a lot more speakers. There was more. When Doug Graham was going, I probably attended his lectures more than anyone, more than any other speaker, and I thought he was the best. When I went the first year, I thought he was head and shoulders the best of all the speakers. And I've seen Doug since then. I've seen him not give good talks sometimes and not be as good at times. So I know people have had different experiences of watching him, but when I went to Woodstock at first, he was definitely the person I was watching, and he had a presentation on. I think he had a presentation on fat. He had a presentation on carbohydrates. He had a presentation on protein. He had a presentation on salt, and I went, and they were very very educational, very deep topics, and lectures, and really enjoyable as well. And it was good to hear a lot of his stories. And he was the best, in my opinion. He was the best. So they no longer have him at the event for a whole range of reasons that I don't want to get into right now or whatever. I don't know if that's available. I don't know if there used to be some information about that on their website, but anyway, and who have they replaced that with? And say like Dan the Man, the Life Regenerator, he used to talk at the event. Who's replaced him? Christina, who used to talk at the event, who's replaced her? Harley, Freely, who've replaced them? None of them go anymore. And who's replacing them? Well, there is still some great speakers, and Mike Velocity's got a great talk. Tim Van Orden's great, and the rest of them are, Dr. Sam, Ellen Livingston, Karen Ramsey, Don Bennett. Like they all have their own thing. They're all good and everything, but they're not very high profile outside of the event in a way. Like they are very important at the event, but they're not kind of, I don't know, stars or I don't know. Like I don't even care about that in a way. But for example, Melissa from Raw Food Romance is much higher profile than a lot of them. Not that she's better or better person or whatever, I'm not saying that, but just purely like someone that probably more people were interested in listening to, just because she was kind of more well known online. And it was confusing to me, why don't they have her speak? They didn't have her speak. I think they maybe do have her speak now, but they didn't. So it's like they weren't really putting effort into bringing in new people and things like that, and having people that were drawing more people. They've also, I think they've probably, one of the things that's been probably hard for them is that they've had different speakers that are now no longer raw, no longer vegan, attack the event. Megan Elizabeth, Rawvana, Elise, all of them have made this ridiculous decision to go back and eat total health destroying, damaging products, meat, and fish and stuff like that. It's totally silly. But and there's way more to that than they will ever let on. But but the festival's kind of suffered because they've had people like that who all said that they were doing the diet and said that they were enjoying it, and it turns out they weren't really doing the diet, and turns out that they're not vegan anymore anyway. So I don't know. And Kate Fruitflowers, I don't know if she was speaking at the festival. She might have just been attending it. But there's all sorts of different people like that have attended the event and then have like attacked the event. The second year I went, there was a whole bunch of vegan YouTubers that came just to build their channel. Had no interest in anything else. Weren't really interested in the raw vegan diet. Just wanted to build their channel, meet Harley and Freely, do interviews with them and all that stuff. I can think of 3 in particular who were just filming people all the time, interviews, that's all they cared about. And they just used the event, and then when they left the event, I think almost all of them attacked the event afterwards. Totally disgraceful behaviour, dishonourable behaviour, but that's what they chose to do, And people have used the event like that. So I can understand why they're very sceptical now about having speakers, because they've seen speakers use the event, abuse the event. Like John Kohler made a ridiculous video like a week before attacking the festival. Like, what? Like what part of your common sense made you think that was a good idea? And then so then they didn't let John come, and then that was a big drama. It's funny. People don't get how good this is, and the people that get how good Woodstock are going back every year and enjoying it and loving it. People like me, and it just seems like so many people have tried to take advantage of it, abuse it. They want to be a social climber, try and climb to the top of the tree, and then they get bored and then they go off to something else. Just enjoy the event. If you're lucky enough to be a speaker at an event like this, like, be grateful, especially Woodstock. Like, I want to go into this in more detail in another video. But for this one, I think the education hasn't been a focus, and I think that's a bit of a shame. But you can still see a lot of great talks there. You can still see a lot of great talks. I do think it's something they could improve on. Even if they get the speakers that they have now, and they talk about that a bit more, like, how can we prevent the next people going away from this diet? How can we really encourage people to do this? What do we need to talk about? What do we need to cover? I think that could be gone into in a little bit more depth. The second thing that I think is a little bit of a personal gripe is that there has been over the years people that have been helping to run the festival, helping to do the activities at the festival, quite influential at the festival, and they're not raw vegan. And that's enough of a problem, but they're also not vegan. And that's enough of a problem, but they're also not healthy. You know, it's like, at least have this is kind of like a vent about health and life and fruit and all that stuff, and you don't have to be like that to attend and come along and enjoy it and learn, but there's maybe a bit of an expectation that the people that are helping to run the thing are at least aligned with the idea of being healthy, like they want to have some healthy choices in their life, and then at least maybe vegan as well. That would be good. And then hopefully raw vegan, or they really respect and understand the raw vegan diet, and respect the people that are coming along to learn about that diet, and don't want to be in an atmosphere where it's been judged or questioned, or people are kind of like, yeah, whatever, that's quite good, but I'm going to go and eat potato chips. And so that's depressing to me a little bit, that there's certain personalities and people that are helping to run things and do certain things, and then they're going away and eating potato chips and who knows what else, you know. But that's just a personal. I don't think actually that's not a big deal, because most people don't know maybe that's happening. But but for me, I would kind of like that. The message isn't coming across like raw vegan diet. Let's do the fruit-based raw. Let's do the fruitarian diet. Raw vegan. Like, that message isn't coming across because some of them don't actually believe in it and they don't see it as being all that important. You know, so. That's kind of missing, and the event, once again, people using it, social climbing, using it for attention, putting their own agenda across, and that needs to be, you know, controlled for sure. I think there's a lot of people that use the event, or I don't know, like, it's always been annoying to me. I remember one time I heard someone say, I need to find out how to get a free ticket to this. Like they wanted to be a speaker or do something, and I was like, why? Like, why can't you just come along and enjoy it? Why do you have to elevate yourself? Why do you have to be a speaker? Why do you have to run workshops? Why, like, do your own event if you want that. You know what I mean? Come along to this for the enjoyment of it. I'm telling you, that the best position at Woodstock is an attendee, not a volunteer, not one of the coordinators, not one of the people running it. A lot of the people that helped to run it used to come as attendees. And I bet that they do not enjoy it anywhere near as much as they used to when they were just an attendee. But there's like this thing in people, like they need to run things, they need to get to the top, they need to have power. And that's a problem, right? So anyway, they probably get loads of people trying to talk at the festival and trying to do things and trying to whatever. And I've always personally tried to stay away from it. I think I once volunteered that I could do a workshop, a songwriting workshop, and I never really pursued it. They didn't get back to me, so I just left it, you know. So I'm really happy not to do anything at Woodstock apart from enjoy myself and meet people and eat fruit, and it's just paradise. It's like a great place for me. But anyway, that's not even a criticism of the event, but some of the people that have been around it, people that have come to it and things. If I think of anything else, the one thing I didn't like last year was the speed dating. So the speed dating event was a very confusing event, because I think over the years with the speed dating, they've had a lot of complaints. And they've not really had a lot of complaints, they've just had a few complaints, but the only people that complain about speed dating are like maybe people that expectations are too high, you know, or something. So what would happen is the older women complained about the fact that they're not with the younger guys. The older guys are complaining about the fact they're not with the younger women. The young girls are complaining about the fact they're not with the older guys. Like, it's just silly, you know. Everyone's complaining. Well, not everyone, but a few people were complaining. The rest, everyone else has got on with it and just wanted to meet people. The thing about speed dating and stuff like that, for a man, it's a way for you to meet a lot of different women in a non-committal way, in an easy way, with no fear, with no worry of rejection, with no anything, you know, just an easy way of talking to a whole bunch of people, and learning about people and see if you like someone. And maybe and most of the time, for me, speed dating, I've done loads of speed dating at raw vegan events, but most of the time it didn't lead to anything, or I didn't really speak to anyone after it, or maybe I made mistakes or whatever. So most of the time it was I left that alone, you know. Well, no, what am I saying? Most of the time most of the time it was fine, you know. Most of the time it was all right, but this time around it was set up to be like as inoffensive as possible or something to gender non-binary people or something like that, literally. So you were put in a group where you would circle around the group and you would date a new person as you went round the group, and what really ended up happening was they put a random mixture of different people in together, so that you were dating men, you were dating lesbians, you were dating women, you were dating people outside your age group, you were like, there was no, it was like, and especially dating men, like, why was I dating straight men? That's more offensive to me than the idea of, like, I don't particularly worry about a person who is bisexual or something not getting to fit in exactly. I don't really care. Like, just pick the gender that you want to be, that you're interested in, but you have to, like, you have to accept if you're bisexual or something, that if you're a woman and you're bisexual, there's women that aren't attracted to you. You know, there's obviously men that aren't attracted to you, but you just got to accept that. And I don't know how that was better to have a situation where no one's really dating the people they want to date. And yeah, it doesn't make sense. I mean, I can understand it's not that great for the gay people that there's just a small gay group, but it's not a gay event, you know. So it's hard to make something specifically for them that makes sense to them. But they've got to accept that the straight people don't want to have a relationship with them, or don't want to have that kind of experience with them. And so I don't know who's offended, not offended, who it benefits, but it was just a very strange situation, and it was weird, you know. It just didn't work out all that well. So there was that. It wasn't that great. I'm not sure particularly about anything else. That's a problem. Everything else is pretty great about Woodstock, and especially the people. The food is amazing, as I was saying. So if you're interested in going, you know, leave a comment below if you like, if you want to ask me any questions about it. If I'm going and you come along, you can feel free to speak to me. I'm most likely going. You can feel free to speak to me at any time if you see me there, and feel free to, literally, even if I'm with people or whatever, feel free to come up and sit with us, because it's all about friends and new people, and you're welcome to be part of the. You're welcome to be part of my little clique, you know. Well, not that I've got a clique, but you're welcome to be part of all that. So, thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video. But as I say, any questions, leave it below. If you'd like to have more of a chat, if you want to ask more questions to me about Woodstock, then once again, leave a comment below, and I can give you more information about it if you need. And yeah, and maybe even at the event we could have a little dinner together or something. We could have a little discussion group that we just privately have on our own little Fruity Roncer group or something. But anyway, see you there, and thanks for watching the video.